This is the awkward sit-down introduction bit where I go through the whole point of this and hopefully give you a bit of context as to why you're watching me sat in my Airbnb. Basically, I'm out in Madrid. This is August 2017 and it's the beginning of me playing football and studying in Madrid. Started out, as everyone does, with my little brother. I joined Macclesfield when I was 12, 13, stayed there all the way through, stayed there as a youth team scholar from 16 to 18. I never actually signed on as a youth team scholar. I was a trialist for all that time because I always wanted to do my A-levels at school and it wasn't possible while a youth team scholar at Macclesfield. So it was difficult 2 years and it was the beginning of the kind of intense student athlete lifestyle that has kind of stuck with me ever since. And I ended up coming out with 2 A's and a B in my A-levels, maths, English lit, business economics, and getting a pro contract at Macclesfield. It was tough, but it was doable with a lot of help from teachers, from coaches, from my parents, my family. And I started full-time at Macclesfield as third choice keeper. I had a few loan spells around the Evo stick level. I learned a lot during that time. I spent that year away from football, as in away from the training pitch, not doing much else. And looking back on that now, I think that was a mistake. And it's a lot of what drives me to get back to that level. I knew I wanted to try something different. Deciding to join Loughborough, study for an international business degree, actually turned out to be one of the best decisions that I've ever made. So for my degree, when it came to my third year, it was compulsory for international business students to have a year study abroad or a year placement in industry. After a bit of time looking, I realised that Spain was probably the place where I wanted to come. I'm not the biggest goalkeeper, never have been, and I've always had to fight against perceptions of goalkeepers in the UK. I'm not going to be one who sits there and moans and says it's wrong. I'm going to be one who goes out and finds a way around it. And the Spanish league does not have the same mental perceptions towards goalkeepers. In the end, I applied to come to Universidad Carlos III de Madrid, and that's my Spanish accent so far. I set about writing to clubs, sending emails, ringing, writing to agents, trying to find people to represent me out in Spain, all of which had turned back nothing. And when I say I tried to contact people, I think I wrote over 70, 80 letters in Spanish. Frankie, my girlfriend, is fluent in Spanish, luckily enough, and her translation was invaluable, but I still had to write these letters out by hand, send emails. Took a tip from Stephen Bartlett, who you should check out on YouTube and Facebook, and I went to Ryman's and bought God knows how many golden envelopes, so that once people received letters, it wasn't just a boring white envelope and they'd actually be interested in reading it. I attached links to a YouTube video where I'd compiled highlights of my season and season before that. So yeah, a lot of effort went into it and I had nothing back. So what I did was I booked a flight on Iberian Express with Frankie and my dad, and we came out to Madrid early July, and we went to 8, 9, 10 clubs every single day, knocked on doors, tried to find people, delivered letters by hand. So the night before I would write out the letter of the people that I was going to see, I'd knock on the door, I'd wait outside the training ground, I'd go to the stadium. We went to Real Madrid, we went to Atletico Madrid, we went to Division 4 clubs that I never heard of in the middle of the city with the 3G. We went everywhere, and I couldn't have done it without Dad and Frankie. Yeah, that was actually a lot more productive and successful than writing emails and writing letters and just ringing from England. And I think it proves quite a valuable point that if you really want it to happen and you really need it to happen, just get on a plane and do it. Yeah, so that was early July, and the biggest outcome from that week was I went to Rayo Vallecano, who are in the 2nd division in Spain. And fortunately enough, we had a letter for the goalkeeper coach. We watched them train. We asked if we could see him. The receptionist, as a lot of them did, said, that's going to be unlikely. You probably won't see him. And as she said it, he walked through the door, and we just collared him and said, my name's Conor, I'm a goalkeeper from England. Would it be possible to come and train here? He didn't speak any English, so Frankie was needed again, but I gave him a letter. He told me to come back the following day. So we came back again, me and Frankie, we watched training. We spoke to him after, and he said he'd spoken to the manager and it was possible for me to come in and train with the B team. And came into pre-season with Rayo B, and 4 weeks later I'm still there and I'm still training, and I'm learning the language slowly, and I'm learning the football slowly, and I'm settling in. I've played a pre-season game with them, which we won. I'm sure I'll go into more depth another time about the football situation and the differences. I'm loving it, and I'm learning things that I never learned before in the UK. And I've started another section of my journey to becoming the best goalkeeper I can possibly be. And the things I'll learn here, I wouldn't have learned back home. So it's a big step, and I don't know what's going to happen as a result, and I hope you kind of stick around and have a look and find it a little bit interesting. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next. Yeah, Rayo B training, and then we'll find out what happens next after that. I'll speak to you all again soon, so thank you for bearing with me on that one, but sweet, speak to you in a bit. Bye.